And now, the time fight fans all across the globe have been waiting for. It's the main card with your man, The Voice. As always, in the opposite corner, my mano y my verbal sparring partner, Philly's finest, Wildress Ruffin. What's going on, Ruff?
Man, it's 7:15. It's been a day, but I'm here. I'm excited. We got some amazing things to talk about. Man, I don't even know how to feel right now, boys, because we have such a great show. How are you feeling today?
Oh man, I'm feeling like I'm looking absolutely fantastic. Got the in-ears trying to be like not the same podcast. Salute to them. They got a show going on right now. Got my Battlehawks hat on from going to the game and we won. That's right, caw. So I'm good.
I'm gonna need you to stop the cacan. Let me give you an intro, ladies and gentlemen. This is the man, the myth, the legend. He has his own T-shirt and he out here cacawing and causing mischief out here in the world. We got an amazing show for you today. It's the main card. Your man Wildress, The Voice. You know the banter. You know what we do. Let's get into it. KOs and low blows. Voice, you ready?
Yes, sir.
Now, the week in boxing so far has been all over the place. Starting with your man Jermell Charlo actually being stripped of his title after his arrest. Voice, I mean, it's a lot more information that's still coming out. Definitely hate to see this. What do we make of this? And what happens now with him being stripped?
Well, let's be real regarding this stripping. He has not fought, at least at the weight class he's supposed to fight at, the one that he holds a belt for like 3 years. The fact that he was able to hold on to the belt for that long, I don't know if it was commendable or if it was farcical. Either way it goes, he should have been stripped a long time ago. I hate to hear that things are going the way that they are for him with his legal issues and things. You know, I heard he crashed his Lamborghini into somebody, argue with him, and then I think he may have fled the scene. I think that's what I read. Is either way it goes, it is not good, and he needs to be stripped because he needs to take care of himself. That's the reason why he hadn't fought, is because he admittedly needed help with his mental health, and he's gone as recently as today online to say he probably is retiring, like he's done with it. And if he is, hey, congratulations to him, salute to him. He probably needs to put his focus somewhere else, because boxing is not something that you play. Boxing is real. 8 people on average lose their life boxing professionally every year. You can't come in with half your focus or halfway. If you're not all the way, it can end real bad.
Yeah, I commend him because he's spoken in the past about his issues previously, and he's been outspoken about that. I definitely want to make sure that he gets the help he needs. An amazing fighter. If this is the end of his career, salute to you, sir. Nothing to be ashamed of. Sometimes these things happen. Sometimes these things happen for the best. But whatever happens, the main card is definitely supporting you and everything that you have going on. Now, moving on from that to actually a fighter that Charlo has had some back and forth with. Voice, your man, the Monster, took a fall recently. Mm-hmm. And with that fall, although he won and he stepped up and he did knock Louis out with that knockdown, boxing pundits are now ranking Bud Crawford ahead of Inoue as far as the pound for pound rankings. Now, they have been going back and forth. You and I even went back and forth about who was fighter of the year, because I said it was Bud because of what he did to Errol. And you were like, nah, I don't think that happens because Inoue is out here just feeding on people. And you brought up my man Cool Boy again, which I didn't like, and we still beefing for that. But Voice,
that's on you. I've moved on. I forgot that he knocked him out.
You ridiculed me for about a good few weeks, and even in the group chat, you went at my neck. So
I'm
never
forgot he knocked him out and made him look like an amateur. He ain't fought since then. I forgot all about that.
Cool Boy taking a break. He hot right now. He's trying to get cool again. So, but what do you think, Voice, about this change in rankings as far as the pundits are concerned? Is this warranted because of what happened? I mean, it was a clean hit, but is that warranted to move Bud ahead of the Monster?
As far as moving him ahead, I think that's a bit of recency bias, because in a way, just was knocked down and then knocked out Luis Nery. That following round, that was the first time Nery had ever been down as well, but Nery went down multiple times after that and was stopped. So that was the first time he went down. That was the first time he was stopped as well. We are prisoners of recency bias. Let's not forget that a man that goes by the name of Mean Machine knocked Crawford down as well. Crawford has tasted the canvas. Does that mean that he's still not absolutely fantastic a fighter? Does that not mean that he didn't come back and knock Mean Machine out? No, it doesn't. So just because he got caught and dropped being in a way does not mean that he should lose his pound for pound ranking.
I mean, Janet Jackson said, "What have you done for me lately?" So
yeah, what he's done for us lately is fought. Probably fought twice since Crawford has fought.
That's no fault to Crawford because people have been ducking and dodging Crawford. If you're right, as a matter of fact, moving on, that's a great segue into it because we made
dodging Crawford. Crawford been doing a little slipping and dipping himself.
I'm not trying to hear that. Now, Canelo is one person that we do know has been ducking and dodging, and right now they're saying that it may be a possibility that we may get that super fight between Canelo and Bud Crawford coming up. I'm hearing that they're working on it and that it may finally happen. Voice, what is the likelihood that we're finally going to get this super fight? And what I know you don't usually give spoilers, but what type of fight would this be if it were to happen?
Okay, what kind of fight it would be if it were to happen is a fight that would have the world captivated if it were to happen. As far as what it looks like in ring, there are too many variables to really say. Bud is going up to 154 to fight Madrimov in August. Okay, is he gonna turn around and fight in September when Canelo normally fights? I doubt that very seriously. So the fact that this discussion is happening, I like it. It's good. Is it still probably about a year or so away? I think so. Because Canelo's going to fight again, or I should say the probability of him fighting again in September is high, especially when you got names like Berlanga being floated out there as possible opponents for Canelo. So, yeah, can it happen? Yeah, what it looks like, again, I don't know. And honestly, with Bud going up to 154, it's some fights that I would like to see there. And, you wanted to sidestep things. Now I saw you, you was trying to sidestep. You didn't, it's not a, you didn't hit me with the check hook. You stepped back, but you weren't able to throw the hook to knock me down. And I'm surprised that you are allowing for this because it's your boy, Philly's own, that he's somewhat sidestepping, being Boots Ennis. And Boots is talking about coming up to 154.
I don't think he's sidestepping him. I think Bud is literally at the tail end. And while a fight between him and Boots would be great, and I'd be excited for it, right now, that type of fight really doesn't do anything for Bud because of where Bud is in his career and where Boots is still coming up in his career. So it would be a great fight, but win or lose, It would be a loss for Bud.
Well, win or lose, the fight with Canelo is a loss. You're fighting someone. Yes, you are. You're fighting someone who's coming up 3 different weight classes. If you win, you're supposed to win. If you lose, you look stupid because you lost to somebody who was an undisputed champion at 147 and fought there as recently as 2023.
If If you lose, you're losing to a big name individual who right now is the pound for pound best fighter in the world, and who in the last year has literally pushed his name up to the top. At this point, Canelo has literally ducked everybody else. He's had some slow showings. I mean, he's still an amazing fighter, but if you take this fight, you can prove all that wrong. If Canelo knocks out Bud,
then he was 3 weight classes too small.
No, we wouldn't say that because Bud came up to do it. Bud wanted to smoke.
Okay, just because you want to smoke don't mean that you don't get knocked out because you fight somebody much bigger.
Let me tell you something. I told this story to you before. When I was in first grade, Neville Naughty was like 12 years old in the first grade. All right, Neville wanted them problems. Neville used to beat the brakes off me. Mama said, if you don't go out there and you don't fight Neville, you gonna have to come in. You can get this belt. You know what I did? I went out there and knocked Neville out. Now it wasn't a loss. It wasn't, it was a loss for Neville. But at the end of the day, I wanted to smoke. You know what I'm saying? So I went up to Neville's weight class. I mean, I didn't go to his age because Neville's like 6 feet in the first grade. I mean, let's be honest. But he got it. And that's what happens when you get smoked, boys.
We talking about playgrounds.
You can shake your head.
The
you
arena
that
of
voice,
combat.
You saying that voice because you didn't fight
people and weight classes for a reason.
You saying that voice because you didn't fight Neville. Now, if me and Neville was Kendrick and Drake, I probably would have been Kendrick because Neville had the hits and he was knocking everybody out in the first grade and he was taking their pudding cups. I was fat. Neville wasn't taking my pudding cup. And the little Jones wasn't going to be checking for me if Neville knocked me out.
Like you should say no, Diddy.
Let's move on. We want to see Canelo and Bud fight. I don't care nothing about that.
Yeah, you want to see Canelo and Bud fight, as well as a number of people want to see it. Do those of us who really follow boxing and love the sport for what the sport is want to see it? Not really. Not really. I mean, will we watch it? Yes. Will it be entertaining? Probably. But would we rather see if Turkey is putting up the money, which he's talking about doing? Well, then let's see Canelo and Benavidez. That's the fight that we want to see.
And we haven't seen that because Canelo was ducking smoke. You ain't got nothing to say.
You got a friend in me.
Oh man, it's all good.
So, we will just keep the party going then, as WWE was in France, in Lyon, France, and this is something that we talked about off air when you sent some information to me about it. I still think it was AI, because how you get a whole crowd full of native French speakers, not in Paris, not in the Mecca for Paris where you got all kind of people, but in Lyon, France, screaming, thank you, Roman, in perfect English, no accents. It's not like merci Roman. That would make sense. Thank you, Roman, like they from New Jersey. Like, that don't make sense to me. But talk to me about what took place at Backlash.
It was an amazing event. The biggest gate that WWE has ever done. I believe that's actually for a PLE. Now, Backlash was actually from France, and the moment you were talking about was when Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles were on stage during the press conference. And when they were talking about, when Cody was talking, the crowd was screaming, "Thank you, Roman." So I'm wondering if this is going to be something that we end up seeing, and if we do get that Cody heel turn that we've been wanting. Now, PLE wise, this was the greatest crowd in the history of WWE, in my opinion. The only one that kind of measures towards that is Backlash in Puerto Rico last year, which was just as great. Now, we saw a bunch of great matches. Of course, we saw Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair become tag team champions in an amazing match. As they continue to grow, that's going to be great. We saw Cody Rhodes retain against AJ Styles in a classic match, and something that we wanted to see from those two, the two former leaders of the Bullet Club literally meeting in the ring in WWE is definitely something we never thought we'd see. And the Bloodline story continues to grow. Randy Orton and Kevin Owens fought against Solo Sikoa and the MFT. And during the match, I don't know, voice. The Bloodline is literally like baby's kids. They don't die, they multiply. Tonga Loa appeared to cost RKO the match. And if you're not familiar with Tonga Loa, he's the brother of Tama Tonga, and they are 7-time NGPW world champs. Like, so this is a big thing for them to be in there. There's one more brother who's still over in New Japan, and then we also have Jacob Fatu, which I think he's probably going to be making an entrance soon. And a great match also that happened was Bayley, Naomi, and Tiffany Stratton. They stole the show. The women stole the entire show in both of those matches. And then there was Jey Uso and Damian Priest, which if you're familiar with Bray Wyatt, during Jey Uso's entrance, it shook the entire arena, almost to the point where they actually got noise, like a noise emergency review or something like that in France that is sent out when the noise gets dangerously high. During Jay's entrance, there's something that WWE Universe knows as the Fireflies. These were like Bray Wyatt's people when he would come out in the dark and the lights would come on. If you get a chance to look it up on YouTube, it's one of the greatest entrances you'll ever see.
Yo,
and Jay stated that.
I saw clips of it on Twitter, and I was like, "What's all this with the lights and stuff?" So okay, all right, that's
so they're known as the Fireflies, and of course, Bray actually passed last year. And one of the things that Jay posted was, "My man Bray was with me during that match." So the WWE has something big with Jay right now. They got to put a title on him soon. And with the PLEs going abroad, this is something we may end up seeing more common. They even talked about WrestleMania possibly next year in London. The next two PLEs are actually abroad also, with Money in the Bank. And also there's one more. I can't remember what it is. But the next PLE that's going to be in the United States is not until SummerSlam, which takes place in August. So WWE right now is on a tear. And yes, it's amazing. Also, make sure you tuning in the King of the Ring tournament. That's the next one. The King of the Ring tournament that's happening. That's happening in Saudi Arabia also, where they're going to crown a King of the Ring, and that's been known to make a superstar literally go to the top immediately.
All right. Well, thank you for that update, and each week you educate me on the world of pro wrestling. We're going to take a little break. When we come back, we're going to get into Kambosos and Lomachenko, as well as UFC St. Louis, where them Battlehawks live. Caw-caw! It's the main card. Keep it locked.
It's not just about the love of the game. It's about dedication and commitment through the process and the patience to endure. There's joy in reaching your goals and peace in knowing you've done all you're supposed to do. Ozell brand. It's not just a brand, it's a lifestyle.
Awesome. Welcome back. Shout out to the sponsor and the OG them Ozell brands. Boys, you got your new pair, or you still rocking your
I'm rocking the blue ones. You know, that's why I had to get this Battlehawks hat was to replace my St. Louis Billikens hat. I'm gonna have to get another one for the winter, but you know, this trucker style is perfect for the summer and perfect for my Ozell nightlives.
We need to get the Battlehawks to sponsor us, because I mean, you're a super fan. I mean, I'm a Phillies fan, but I'm not out here yelling "caw." But it's
yeah.
Good.
I mean, you say you're a Phillies fan. I mean, you can't yell anything, but maybe "Hey you" or something. I don't know, because I mean, what's a Philly? It's a horse. Nay.
Voice. I mean, we've been beefing, but don't disrespect my city. You know, it's Broad Street all day, every day. Now, I don't know what that thing is on your hat, but people know what this P is when they see it. Anyway, sir.
It's a sword. It's a flying sword.
It looks ridiculous.
Turn it upside down. It says STL. Free.
So basically, you Jon Snow in Missouri. That don't really matter. When George Kambosos Jr. and Vasily Lomachenko meet, the IBF lightweight championship may not be the only thing on the line. Now, with a win, Bob Arum is actually hoping that Loma may also set up a coveted super fight major bout with Shakur Stevenson. Now, Stevenson is scheduled to defend his WBC lightweight world title, and a win in the IBF world title held by Lomachenko could potentially set up the first of a few super fights between champions that could potentially include Tank Davis, the current WBA champion. Now, Arum stated, so if Lomachenko wins and Shakur wins, who is scheduled to fight in July, then for the fall to do a Lomachenko-Shakur fight, every serious boxing fan will be watching that in awe between two great technicians fighting for a unified world title. Boxing fans are also hoping to see this happen before the Matrix hangs it up, because during his conversations with media, he was actually beginning to call himself an old man and almost talked about the end. He recently stated, if you're talking about ages in boxing, I'm an old man. But my career is almost done, of course. How many years is it going to be? 1, 2, 3, that's it. But I still think I have a little bit of power. It's a hard question when I retire exactly. Now, he told this to Fox Sports Australia. He stated, at this stage, every fight is hard, and it's hard to recover after fights. I don't know what will happen with my body after this fight, and that's why I can't give you an answer to the question of when I will retire. Now, on the other side, we know about George Kambosos. The underdog is confident because he's fighting in his home country, and he stated that winning the IBO lightweight title in his last bout in July. So he's coming in really confident and he's ready. Now, it wouldn't be a George Kambosos fight if we didn't get a little spice talk. He even questioned if Loma had the hunger in him. He said 100% Lomachenko still has a lot left in the tank, but I don't believe he has that dog in him anymore. I don't think he wants it as bad as I do right now, and you can never overlook a guy like Lomachenko, but I'd be the biggest idiot if I were to do that. Lomachenko is an all-time great and a guy we have a lot of respect for, but we're preparing for the best version of him. Once that bell rings, the respect is out the door, and it's time to do the job and win that title. Now, Voice, I mean, we've seen the work Lomachenko has. We talked about it on the main card previously about the win that Haney had over him, and some even felt like Lomachenko won. What are your thoughts on literally, I mean, let's first start with Bob Arum's statement about the possibility of him and Shakur fighting. What do you believe about that? What do you think about that?
What I think about him and Shakur fighting is, but that's the fight that probably should be happening now. I think the reason that it's not happening is because Bob wants to make sure that he gets Shakur back under contract and didn't want to. He needed a little something to bring Shakur back in, which is the reason why that fight didn't happen. This is the reason why Shakur retired for all of like 6 days and then came back soon after that, is because he thought that he would be fighting against Loma or, you know, some other name brand, someone like Navarrete. So I think that this just makes sense. It's public politicking in order to keep who they believe is their star for the future in Shakur Stevenson under the banner of Top Rank.
I mean, it could be a major fight depending on what happens, but of course, I mean, Shakur just talked about retiring previously. So with Lomachenko also talking about it, it feels like these are fights that we do need to make sure that they do happen. What are your thoughts on Lomachenko, you know, talking about the end? I mean, at 36, yeah, you can't say he's up there, but he's still a great fighter. How much do you believe he still has in the tank, and how many years could we still see him do this in ring?
I honestly, for both Loma as well as for Kambosos, this fight is a fight for the future. This fight determines where they go and what they do. We know that Loma was broken with the loss to Devin Haney. You know, we can still see him crying in the dressing room because of the loss of the opportunity to finally be undisputed champion. He doesn't have too many more rodeos to go. And for Kambosos, yeah, when he lost to Devin both of those times, most of us thought that was it for him. Now he's got another opportunity at a huge payday with Vasily Lomachenko, and he obviously still has some drawing power for this to take place in Australia versus taking place somewhere in the US. You know, so for him, he's got to win, because you can't like lose 3 real fights, because even the fight that he won in between, it was like, okay, you won it, but did you really win it? And it wasn't like so awesome or anything where people even remember. I don't even remember the dude he fought. As a matter of fact, I barely remember that he had a fight after the fight with Haney. So he needs a win, and he needs a win in a big way if he's going to continue to fight and be someone that is a player in the game of boxing. You know, otherwise he'll be, you know, just some washed up guy that someone can make their name off of.
But I mean, you know, Kambosos just won the IBO lightweight championships. I mean, does that not have any bearing to it?
No, it doesn't. What's the IBO? Like, what color is the belt? Where is that headquartered? I mean, they've been, now let me say this. The IBO has been trying to make some waves recently, but it's, yeah, that really doesn't matter. So we're in the 4-belt era, not a 5-belt yet.
So with all that being said, you know, you stated that both of them actually need this win. Who would hurt more by a loss, Kambosos or Lomachenko?
It will hurt Kambosos more because Loma is at the end of his career, or I should say he's been fighting long enough where he can step away at any moment, which is the reason that we were talking about some of the retirement talk. So if Loma were to lose and to retire, hey, congratulations. You've done so much for boxing and even more for the people of Ukraine. You know, that's it. Go ahead and ride off into the sunset. With Kambosos, your biggest win has an asterisk because it was to a debilitated fighter in Teo. And not only was he debilitated, we know now, based on this fight and other fights, he fights up or down to the level of perceived competition. He didn't think anything about you and shouldn't have fought that fight. Should have been in the emergency room because of all the issues that he was having. But he fought the fight. He lost. And Ferocious has looked like a pussycat ever since then.
Strong words. I mean, okay. Both fighters are coming off of wins after the unanimous decision losses to Haney. This is going to be taking place in Kambosos' backyard of Australia. So make sure that you're following the Voice on Twitter or X, whatever you call it, for those spicy takes. And I'm sure Voice is going to be scoring each round. That's going to be a major fight. Now, for what Voice has been waiting for. Voice. It's going to be a fight in the UFC wilderness when the Black Beast takes on Yogi Bear in a heavyweight fight in the Enterprise Center in Voice's backyard,
Enterprise,
St. Louis, Missouri. Now, Rodrigo comes into the bout looking to not only make a name for himself, but to create a legacy for himself at the expense of the all-time leader in KOs. Now, speaking with Sherdog, he stated, "We have a path to victory. Our game plan to reach the belt, and this is another step on that road. We're taking it step by step, and I feel like where I need to be is where I am right now. Derek will be yet another step on my way to the top 10 and into the top 5. Now, he's currently number 15, and Derek Lewis is number 12. He said that I have much respect for him, and I know he's very tough, but you can be sure that I'll beat him on Saturday." He went on to state, for some reason, he's a family man. He has children and dreams just like I do, but I'm willing to fight, and God willing, a bonus on top of that. He said, I'm ready to beat him in any scenario. I can fight 5 rounds. I can knock him out. I can submit him, or I can win by decision. Voice, he went on to state that his confidence during the fight is so great that he'll find the path no matter what to victory. Now, for Derek, he's already had the belt. Now, the one thing about Derek Lewis is he's a legend in the octagon, but he's also facing major questions in his career. He's 2-5 in his last 7 bouts, losing 4 or 5 of those by KO or submission, and he's ranked, like we stated, 12th. Now, a loss for Derek Lewis could surely mean the end of the 39-year-old legend's career, but we've said this before, and he's come out and shocked us. So, Voice, what are your thoughts on Rodrigo's statement that no matter what, he's getting that path to victory?
Well, as far as the path to victory is concerned, he's just saying what he should be saying. He's headlining for the first time. He is fighting a fighter who, is looking as if he's shop worn. So you should come into this with a level of, hold on, we gotta get Jesse real quick. He should become.
I only did that because of what she said. No, you know what? That's fine. That's fine.
Like I said, people ain't galloping and neighing around Philly, I don't think. But anyway, he should be talking like this, Nascimento, because of who he's fighting and because of who he is. Nascimento's only lost 1 fight. 1. It was in the UFC, but he's only lost 1 fight. Now, granted, the people he's fought since then, I mean, you lost to Ilir Latifi in a split decision. You lost to a lifelong light heavyweight. Or I should say you beat a lifelong light heavyweight in a split decision. I believe that his win over Tanner Boser was also a split decision. That doesn't say a whole lot. Whereas for Derek Lewis, yes, has he lost, a bit as of late? Absolutely. But if you're losing these split decisions, talking about I can submit, I can do all that. You didn't do that with Ilir Latifi, who has no ground game. You didn't do that with Tanner Boser, but you're gonna get to do that with the Black Beast. Really, to me, it looks like they have set this up. It's almost like a little squash match for the Black Beast. It's an opportunity for him to do what he does, excite the crowd, a live crowd in a venue, because he's been doing a lot of his fights at the Apex lately. This is an opportunity for him to do his Black Beast thing, excite the crowd in St. Louis, and as well as on TV across the nation.
I mean, it's going to be a big deal, like you stated. I mean, he's had 13 fights in his career. He's 11. I think his only loss, you said, was in 2020. But then he also has that no contest, I believe. Mm-hmm. Am I correct?
He does.
I mean, that's actually on his belt too. So Derek Lewis is, he's a legend for a reason. You're the all-time leader in KOs in the octagon. I don't care how many losses you have currently. That's going to be a big deal. So that's going to be a great fight. I know Voice is going to be excited for that. We're going to hear a lot about that. I'm looking forward to hearing about everything that he feels about that event taking place in his hometown. Now, we also have the Voices marquee matchup on the same card. It's a featherweight bout. Voice, give us the reason why this is the Voices marquee matchup and what should we be looking for in this bout?
The Voices marquee matchup come on. We don't have a Voices marquee matchup often. But if we're going to have a Voices marquee matchup and the fight card is in St. Louis, or I should say, you're going to have one when it's in St. Louis. Why? Because we got 3 St. Louisans on the card. But the matchup that I'm most interested in, and the one that I believe has the most potential for fireworks, is Alex Caceres versus Sean the Sniper Woodson. Bruce Leroy is never, ever, 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 ever in a boring fight. He's always in exciting fights and he is a stand-up savant. I mean, he just goes at it. Same thing with Sean the Sniper Woodson. He is a boxer's boxer. You can kind of see based on this picture there at 155. You see how kind of wide his shoulders and stuff are. You know, he's built different, literally, and you know he's been devastating in the cage, knocking people out and using his superior striking skills to do that. So this is a striker's delight. You got Bruce Leroy, who's gonna go just not just having the glow like you say I do from time to time, but he literally has a flowing style with his fight. It's perfect for this matchup with Woodson. You're going to see striking at its highest level, and it has all of the makings of a possible fight of the night.
Wow, that sounds amazing. I like the Bruce Leroy name, but I feel like he should be called Show Enough instead.
No, look, when he broke into the scene on The Ultimate Fighter, he came into the house wearing that same yellow jumpsuit that Bruce Leroy wore when Show Enough came in, and they said, I would like to peel this banana. Had the same thing on. Salute to the real Bruce Lee who wore that in Game of Death.
Definitely. The Bruce Lee reference is amazing. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for tuning in with us. We're just getting you ready for an amazing weekend of combat sports. And before we go, Voice always gives us his last word on more matches that you should be looking forward to on your docket this weekend. Take it away, Voice.
Absolutely. So, you know, of course, we have UFC St. Louis going on. And like I said, it's a lot of St. Louisans on this card, 3 specifically. But you also have some other really interesting names on the card. Terrence McKinney, who's always in exciting fights. You got Veronica Hardy, wife of Dan Hardy, fighting on this card. Tisha Torres, the wife of the bantamweight champion, is fighting on this card. So you got some people with some name value on this fight card in the Gateway City. But then, as I said as well, you have 3 St. Louisans, including the person who's really kind of taking a mantle as the OG of MMA in St. Louis, being Joaquin Buckley. He is in the co-main event on this card. You got Charles Energy Johnson fighting again in St. Louis. As a matter of fact, when I met Joaquin for the first time, it was at an LFA card that Charles was headlining here in the St. Louis metro area. You know, so you've got these people, you know, coming out to fight. And I'll say this about Charles Johnson. One thing that you know about people within the fighting community, if you're a male and you have hair that you're growing below the hook of your head, you got to be able to fight. And this man has a ducktail, so you know he got to fight.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Are you serious?
Yeah, he sometimes it's a shag, sometimes it's a ducktail, but yes. So you know he's gonna bring it. You got those things going on. You got those people fighting at this card. It's a low-key banger for real. You know, I didn't even mention some of the other fights that are on here, fights like Chase Hooper, who's going to be fighting. St. Louis is getting a good card.
Sounds amazing. I know we're going to hear about it. We're going to get some great content from that when The Voice shares all that on social media. Make sure you're following The Voice at The Voice so that you can get all that banter. MTMV Sports. This is literally what we do. We are the fans. We go out, we do the studying for you. We give you different angles that you may not have heard before, that you might not be getting from those regular pundits. So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. If you can't see these beautiful faces, we're on the podcast. This is what it is. Go and like, share, and subscribe your favorite podcast. We're on there also. Make sure that you catch the entire family. We have shows for everything that you're wanting and you're needing. Thank you for tuning in. You can mark Tuesdays and some Wednesday nights. It's Smoke O'Clock at 7:15 Eastern Standard Time. Voice, take us out, boss.
Hey, one last fight that I forgot to mention. Like I said, so much going on at this UFC St. Louis card, including Waldo Cortez Acosta versus Robelis de Spagna. Robelis is a 6'7" Taekwondo master. How you gonna be a giant throwing all them kicks? And at heavyweight, like 300 pounds. Now, of course, it can't be 300 pounds in the octagon, but I'm telling you, UFC St. Louis, it's got them fights, man.
That sounds like Sagat from Street Fighter.
Well, Sagat wasn't he wasn't that big.
I'm not fighting nobody 6'7", good buddy. Like, I gotta get a bat or something. That ain't no fair fight. Anyway, you ruined my outro voice. Okay, y'all heard me. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. You can't see these faces. You can hear these wonderful voices and this back and forth banter with my mano a mano, my verbal sparring partner. Voice, take us out, boss.
Until next time, fight the good fight.
Hey guys, it's your girl C, and you just watched the show on MTMV Sports Network. And if you like what you see and you want more exciting content, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel.